Hey, 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 hey. Let's see. I am super excited about diving in. This is something when I have my downloads, it's like, okay, sometimes there's like silence on the line. And then when I get my downloads, it's like, oh, okay, we're back, right? So today I'm going to be sharing the costs with an S, plural, of choosing you. And I feel like I've done this topic before. I would almost put money on the fact that I've talked about this before, but it probably was in a similar but still different way. But it's cool because clearly it's something that needs to be discussed, and there's some things going on in current events that makes this relevant as well. But I want to make it most applicable to you. So again, I'm going to be talking about the costs, plural, of choosing you. There are many, many, many costs of choosing you, and whether it's personally or professionally. And I probably could talk ad nauseum for the rest of today if I didn't stop myself, but I'm not going to do that. Like there are a couple that I want to, shed light on because what I know is that my most ideal clients are millennial entrepreneurs that are still juggling a 9 to 5, right? That want to quit but don't have the confidence, right? And what I support them with is quitting without regret, their way and on their terms. And so a part of it is taking a calculated risk, right? And when you take calculated risk, that means you have factored in the cost of whatever it is that you're trying or attempting to do. So I'm going in just a second, but before I do, like if you happen to be here with me live on whatever platform, because this is out in a couple of, do me a favor and say, hey, AD. If you happen to catch the replay, do me a favor and type hashtag no regret. Hashtag no regret. Okay. And what I also want to make you privy to, right? So it's the end of 2022, a new year is upon us. And I know that my fellow go getters, we got a lot that we want to do, right? In a short amount of time, right? There's so many things as creatives that we want to do. But a lot of times we develop analysis paralysis because we become consumed and overwhelmed with wanting to do all of the things at all of the times and all of the ways serving all the people. And so if you know for a matter of fact that you don't want 2023 to end the way 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, so on and so forth have ended, with your big dreams still being a dream and not being any closer to those dreams being a reality, and you know in your gut, you know in your heart of hearts that it's possible, but maybe you're scared, right? Your fear is greater than your faith, and it has been for some time, right? You feel like you don't have clarity on how to do the thing, right? You know that there's something bigger. Maybe you don't even know what the bigger is, but you know that there is something or some things that you're being called or led to do, but you have been staying stuck and not moving in that direction for whatever your reason is, right? But you know that you want 2023 to be like your breakout year. You know that you want 2023 to be the year that you no longer subscribe to places, people, and things that are no longer serving you. And you want to do it confidently. You want to do it without regret. And for you, it may be quitting your 9 to 5, right? For you, it may be putting together your exit strategy, right? You may not quit today. You may not quit tomorrow. You may not quit in 3 months. However, you have a plan. And with every plan, with action and execution, at some point, you're going to reach the finish line, right? You're going to reach the promised land. So if you know that 2023 is the year, is going to be your breakout year, you desire for it to be your breakout year, I want to invite you to work with me, right? For the first 90 days of the year. So we will start in January and work together for 90 days. And the goal is to do in 90 days what you haven't been able to do with regard to your goals, your dreams, your exit strategy, making traction, gaining momentum to your goals and your dreams in 90 days or less. To be able to do in 90 days or less what you haven't been able to do in the last several months, the last year, the last couple of years. That's the goal with my support and my accountability. So if you're interested in that, I want you to type momentum in the chat and I will get you more information. Okay. So moving forward, Cost of choosing you. The first one, when you choose you, is comfort. Comfort. A lot of times choosing you is going to require you to be selfish, right? To put you first and put others second, or maybe take others off the table, whoever others may be, right? And it's a different flex because you're a giver, you're a high achiever, overachiever, if we can be real. Like you're a go-getter. You are your tank is filled by serving other people, helping other people, and using your gifts in service of other people, right? And your talents and your skills and your abilities. However, when you finally decide to choose you, there are going to be some people who take it personal. When you decide to choose you, it's going to require you to show up in places that maybe you're not familiar with. It's going to require you to say no, which can be uncomfortable, right? To things that you typically would say yes to, and that you would say yes to begrudgingly. When you choose you, it's going to require you to show up in the world differently as a different, more evolved version of you. You'll be wearing a new skin. And for a lot of us, as we begin to put on that new shoe, lace it up and walk a couple of miles in it, it's very uncomfortable. Having to think differently, having to show up differently, having to speak differently. When I say speak differently in the sense of it's not a yes to everything. Just because you've been the answer, right? You've been the glue, right? Speaking differently. Yeah, so it might be no, right? It might be delegating. It might be sharing the wealth. It may be not answering your phone, right? Cost of choosing you, one of them is absolutely comfort. Why? Because so long you've been comfortable choosing everybody else and putting yourself on the back burner. So it may be uncomfortable, right? And if you are choosing you and you experience discomfort, that's a surefire way to know that you're moving in the right direction. It's not going to always be comfortable in roses and butterflies. It will likely, you will likely experience some discomfort. And some of that discomfort comes from the second thing that I'm going to share. Another cost of choosing you. It can cost you relationships, personally and professionally. Absolutely, personally and professionally. I'll give you an example. So if you know anything about my story, so I quit 2 6-figure jobs. I've quit 2 6-figure jobs in my time. And the very first time I quit, nobody saw it coming. Hell, even I didn't see it coming, to be honest with you, if I could be frank. you know, the epiphany happened, the aha moment happened, and I went internally, and got clear about who I was, where I was, what my options were, and I made a decision and I moved on it, like in record time, right? Within a day's time. I didn't ponder on it or sit with it for weeks and weeks and weeks. No, I had made a decision that I was done. I was talented, I was teachable, I was trainable, and that I was the prize, and I was taking my talents elsewhere, right, where I felt valued and appreciated. And so there was a particular executive in my chain of command who I'd been in his good graces all along, right? He'd actually brought me over into his division, right? I did amazing work. And when I decided to take my talents elsewhere, my relationship with him changed, right? And I thought it was interesting, just like, well, I was almost like the golden child until I decided to choose me, right? And so now there's bad blood. Now there's dissension. Well, why? Because I chose me. And guess what? I would choose me again and again and again. And you know why? Because what that taught me was that in that relationship, I was only as good as what I was doing for said person, said entity, said group. And if that is as valuable as I am to you, I wasn't valuable to you in the first place, right? So that's an example, a personal example of how choosing you can cost you relationships. And believe it or not, our paths ended up crossing later on. And I was still me, showing up as me, and still did amazing work, right? And they still got the glory, you know. So it's just like being cautious of what bridges you're willing to burn, right? Whereas for me, I did what I had to do and landed on my feet. You know what I'm saying? So that is an example of relationships being a cost of choosing you. And it's up to you to decide, okay, well, what is the risk? Am I willing to accept that? It could cost you personal relationships. Why? Because people may be accustomed to you showing up a certain way, doing a song and dance, whatever that may be, right? And the way that you show up is how they are comfortable seeing and experiencing you. And when you start showing up differently in a way that they're not used to, accustomed to, comfortable with, or even in agreement with, then that's when the game changes. But you have to know that, hey, where I'm going is where I'm going. And whoever is coming with me is coming with me. And whoever is not, I thank you for your service. I got to leave this where I'm leaving it. And so, my whole goal in sharing these different costs of choosing you is just to hedge you on what is coming. If I had $1 for every time a client has told me things that I hedged them about as they were preparing to quit, when they ultimately quit, when they gave their notice, right? The things to look out for. Be prepared to answer this question and be prepared for this type of resistance. When they come back and say, you were right, you told me about that. You told me, like, I didn't think they would. You told me. Yeah, because I've been there. I've done it twice, right? At a very high level, twice, and lived to tell about it. So know that it may cost you relationships. And a lot of times people don't understand what it is that you're doing, but it's not for them to understand, right? And I know that there are some levels of support that we desire by particular people. And we really want their buy in, we really want their understanding, we really want their support. And what I've come to learn is that when you do you and you believe in you and you're consistent, they will get information at some point, or they never will, right? But most of them will get it over time as you show up and you do what you said that you were going to do, and you keep showing up for you and you're consistent, right? And that comes with innovation, right? There are immediate adopters, there are um middle of the way adopters, and there are late adopters, right? It's common in what you're wanting to do, what you're planning to do, what you're positioning yourself to do. And let me say this, not just personally, it may be professionally, right? You may be looking to quit a relationship. It happens, right? And not everybody will get it. Not everybody will get it. I'll share another personal testament. I called off an engagement less than a month beforehand. And there were people who questioned if I was sure I wanted to do it. There were people that were with with it, with my decision immediately, right? And there were some people that were just kind of like fair weather. I heard it all. I decided what I decided. I said what I said. And as I maintained my consistency with my decision, either they got on board, right? Or I left them behind. It just is what it is. But I decided that I was going to do what I was going to do because it was my decision to make and it was my life to live. And so I share these, one, to let you know that, like, when I say I get you, I get you. When I understand what it's like to be in spaces that are no longer serving you, and not from a, I'm the king or queen of Zamunda. No, but it's because you're the prize and you put in great work, you're loyal, right? You have integrity about yourself, right? You bend over backwards, you give, 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 and give, and then you're not valued and you're not appreciated and you're taken advantage of. You're undermined in different ways. Like, no, when you decide that enough is enough and you recognize what your value is, and you also know that you're called to more and bigger and better and greater, you let go with ease and with confidence. And so for what other people may be seeing, it may seem haphazard, it may seem knee jerk, but now you've been wrestling with this for a while. You've been thinking about it for a while. You've been feeling the nudge for a while. Your spirit has been uneasy for a while. And now you're at the point where you're ready to do something about it. And you're doing something about it. It's not new to you, but it's new to others around you, right? So it can absolutely cost you relationships, right? Some are worth, doing the work to maintain, others not so much, but you get to choose. The third thing that the third cost of choosing you is security. And security is loaded, right? So it can cost you financial security as you've known it up until then. If you're looking to leave a job, right? Quit your 9 to 5, it can cost you financial security. It can cost you emotional security. Our emotions play so much of a part into what we do and how we do it, right? It comes from our thoughts, right? Our thoughts affect our feelings, right? Our feelings dictate what we do or don't do, and that ultimately dictates the results that we see. So there may be some emotional security that you have with the place that you're showing up in your current job, current career. And it has done its job up until now. However, you feel that nudge, you feel that pull to do something differently, to do something different. And your faith is starting to supersede and outweigh your fears. And you're starting to lean into it, right? And so, yeah, there's an element of emotional security that you may have. There's something there that you may feel, I know the lay of the land, I have this expertise, there's a certain comfort I have in the discomfort. That's a thing too, right? It's hard to get up in the morning and go into a place where it's just like it's draining the life out of you. But even in the midst of that craziness, there is an element of comfort, and it's rooted in familiarity. Is that enough to keep you in this space, feeling somewhat secure, knowing how talented, how gifted, how skilled you are, and knowing that you're called to something different? And don't get me wrong, this journey is not for everybody. This journey is not for the faint of heart. This work that I'm doing in support of millennial entrepreneurs, my fellow go-getters, is for those who have completed their purpose assignment in the places that they are and that they have been up until now. And they're just churning and burning at this point in a space where, like, the purpose assignment has been complete. You've been uncomfortable because the assignment has been complete, and it's been time for you to move on and do the next thing. You got another assignment waiting for you. That wasn't the end all be all for you. But there are these things that we kind of lock into, whether it's the salary, right? Whether it's the people. Because no matter how crazy the things can be, there are people that get you. There are people that you actually show up for every day. and they can be the hardest to leave, right? So there's some emotional security, like kind of tethered and embedded in that. And it could be prickly, it could be really uncomfortable to unravel. But when you get to the root of it, the why, as to why you keep showing up, is based in that, right? There, amidst all of the crazy, all of the chaos, whether it's organized chaos or it's chaos, there's some things that kind of keep you going, right? It could be the money, it could be the people, it could be a hybrid mixture of both. It could be like the bigger picture, the bigger mission, but it's costing you your sanity. It's costing you your life. You literally feel like you're withering away, inside out, day after day. It's costing you something, right? It's costing you. But I want you to know staying is costing you, but choosing you will also cost you. And that's not to say it's not risk that's worth assuming. I'm not going to tell you what risk to assume. You got to know that you're willing to assume the risk. My goal in supporting you and quitting what's no longer serving you and taking that leap and pursuing full-time entrepreneurship and creating your exit strategy and quitting that relationship that you know is holding you back from your greater. My whole goal is to show you what's possible and position you to make the most informed decisions about your life, about your destiny, and to eradicate the what ifs. I think it's a really, really, really hard life to live with what ifs. And you don't have to, but it's always a choice. And the only way to get around living with what ifs is to lean into the possibility and to see what happens. If you succeed, great. If you fail, great too. Just make sure you're failing forward. But you no longer have to live with what if and the regrets that come with that. So there's many costs to choosing you. I've shared a couple here with you today, and I want to reiterate what something I said earlier in the call, in the video, is that the new year is upon us, right? And one of the things that I know is necessary for you is momentum. And why momentum is helpful, right? Why momentum is necessary is because it's what's going to build your belief, getting you out of the starting block, right? No longer just dreaming about it or just talking about it in an ad hoc way, but no, you're talking about it in a concentrated, focused manner that's helping you to do something about it. This is the dream, this is the goal, this is what's in the way, here's what I'm trying to do. Here are my fears, here are my reservations. Help, right? Help me. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to partner with you in getting this thing done. Getting this thing done looks like doing in 90 days or less what you haven't been able to do in the last several months, last several years, this past year, right? That you've been thinking about, wanting to do, you've been putting on the back burner, you've been prioritizing everything and everyone else. And like, enough is enough. Enough is enough. You are ready to get out of the starting block. You are ready to make some traction. You're ready to gain some momentum. And that's the exact thing that we're working to do. The first 90 days of the new year, we're working to get you out of the starting block and building momentum, doing what it takes to bring your big, bold, outlandish dreams to fruition. We're playing the long game, right? But if you haven't started yet, now is an amazing time to start. If you started and stopped, I'm challenging you and inviting you to do something different. Fold in the necessary support and non-judgmental accountability that you need to hold you to what it is that you said that you're trying to do. Listen, you can go far by yourself, but you can go so much further, so much quicker with the right support and accountability in tow. And I want to invite you to start the new year in a way that you never started it before, with a coach, with my support. So if that is you, I want you to type momentum in the chat and I will send you some information. Now, if that is not you, that's cool too. I got something for you. And I typically don't do this. I typically give one thing for you to do and to settle in. But if that's not you and you are interested in learning how millennial entrepreneurs are quitting decades-long corporate careers and pivoting into the life of their wildest dreams, I want you to click the link in the caption of this video, wherever you may be watching it, or you can go to quitwithoutregret.com. That's quitwithoutregret.com. Again, if you caught the replay, I'm I'm so glad that you took a moment to watch this. I'm grateful that you are here. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, share this with them, right? But also, if you did catch the replay, don't forget to type hashtag no regrets in the comments so that I know that you were here and I'll come back and show you some love. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.